Bill O'Brien got hired by Ohio State to become their new offensive coordinator. And guess what's even better? He's going to be calling the plays. He's taking over play calling duties from Ryan Day. Oh my goodness. When I first saw this news, I did nothing but laugh. But, I have to sit back and think over it. Because Bill O'Brien isn't a terrible offensive coordinator, how people would lead you to believe. He did do a pretty decent job at Alabama. Did he do an A+ job at Alabama? Absolutely not. But I would give him a B grade from his job calling plays at Alabama. The problem with Alabama is that Bill O'Brien's offense was putting up points, and you can say that their defense didn't really do them any favors, but it was too Bryce Young-centric. And that's why Nick Saban cleaned house with the coaching staff. He said that we need to get back to the basics, and we were way too dependent on Bryce Young. Bill O'Brien, though, when you look at his track record, when he's just been a play caller, he's had success everywhere he's been outside of this past season with the New England Patriots. If you're a college football fan and you don't keep up with the NFL like that, you can't really judge Bill O'Brien for how his previous stint with the Patriots went, because the Patriots just were a disaster on offense. They had no receivers that could separate. They didn't have a good offensive line. They had no quarterbacks. The only thing they had were some decent running backs. And Bill O'Brien, with him calling the plays, your rushing attack is going to be extremely deadly this year. You give him Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, yeah, he's going to cook with that. And you also can make the argument that this hire can work out because Bill O'Brien is going to be working with way more talent than what he ever had to work with this past season in New England and when he was coaching at Alabama. What you mean, JT, is Alabama? They always have talent. There's a reason why they had to get Jamison Williams from the transfer portal. There are only two great receivers during Bill O'Brien's tenure calling plays was John Mechie and J-Mo. That was about it. So it's not like Alabama was the same Alabama that you used to know back when they just used to have great receivers come in and come out. Ohio State, getting Bill O'Brien, that's their OC with the talent that they have, might not be as bad as a move as what people think. Now, is it a hire that I would have made if I was Ryan Day with the pressure that I'm under coming into this season? Absolutely not. I strongly believe that Dan Mullen would have been a way better hire than Bill O'Brien. And I don't get why Dan Mullen hasn't been hired as an offensive coordinator yet. Maybe he just enjoys his job in the studio. I want to give him on the podcast one day in the future, but Dan Mullen would have been a fantastic hire for Ohio State if they were looking for a new play caller. And I don't even think Ryan Day's play calling was that bad. It's just that the quarterback position wasn't that good, and he was fortunate enough to get C.J. Stroud, who's a top 5 QB in the National Football League right now, and was able to get Justin Fields, who also was a first-round pick who's had somewhat of a successful career in the NFL. Well, I don't know if you can call it successful, but, his career in the NFL has been pretty solid up to this point. So you got 2 NFL quarterbacks. Of course, you were going to have a hard time finding your third one. The only head coach in college football that consistently can find outstanding quarterback play and coach them up and turn them into gems is Lincoln Riley. That's about it. So for Ryan Day, him giving up play calling, was it necessary? Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe part of that was due to the fact that they just didn't evaluate the quarterback position properly. Because a lot of Buckeye fans really believe that if C.J. Stroud would have stayed for this season, they would have took down Michigan this season. I have to agree with that. But Bill O'Brien, as a play caller, he does have a lot of experience. He coached a lot. He coached as the OC for Tom Brady a few years back in the early 2010s. And he's somebody who's really fiery. His nickname is Teapot because he's really quick to rile up. But I do think that when it comes to having somebody who can get the most out of your personnel with what you have, Bill O'Brien definitely is more than capable of being able to do that. And he may not be the most flashiest hire. He may not be a hire that you want, but I don't think Bill O'Brien is going to be a complete disaster calling plays for the Buckeyes, considering the amount of talent they have and considering the fact that this dude knows football. If you don't believe that, Look up Bill O Brien coaching clinic. Listening to Bill O Brien talk football, fam, it's like music to your ears if you're a football nerd like me. Like, this dude breaks down every single detail of the game. And I was really surprised that the Patriots offense was even worse than what it was the previous season. They just didn't have no talent. You see, when you're calling the plays, you're only as good as what you have to work with. You can't just turn shit into gold if you just have nothing but shit around you and you don't have a little bit of gold. At Ohio State, he has a lot of gold and a lot of things to work with. So Bill O'Brien, to me, I'm not going to say this was a bad hire, but it was a hire that you probably could have done better in. If you were going to hire an OC, Dan Mullen was out there. He definitely would have been better than Bill O'Brien, but Bill O'Brien isn't bad. He's a B-tier coordinator, in my opinion. Is this going to be good enough to help you beat Michigan? Be able to end that losing streak to the team up north? We'll see, but they got a stacked team. Bill O'Brien, it's not like the offense was unserviceable at times at Alabama. It's just that the defense was so terrible and they were so Bryce Young dependent. But Bill O'Brien, he's a pretty good football coach. He knows what he's doing, but you know, it's not a bad hire. It's not as bad as what people are making it out to be. People make it seem like Ohio State's offense is about to fall off the cliff of Bill O'Brien. It's just that he's a B-tier coordinator. And at a school like Ohio State, you probably need better than B-tier. You probably need A++, considering the expectations are to win championships every single season.